The second item is consider authorizing the chair to sign a Mesa County Core Services Plan in the amount of $2,130,257 to be submitted to the Colorado Department of Human Services Office for approval. And we do have Joe Kellerby, our Child Welfare Adult Protection Division Director, here to present. Good morning, Joe.
Thank you, Commissioners. Joe Kellerby, Child Welfare and Adult Protection Division Director for the Mesa County Department of Human Services. And with me is Joni Johnson, our Child Welfare Services Administrator. So we are in front of you today to get a signature of the board chair for our core services plan for our core allocation for the amount that was previously stated. The core services plan is our plan that we give to the state that allows us to provide services to families that are traditionally involved with child welfare and also families that we deem would be necessary for prevention services. So these services include substance abuse services, domestic violence services, individual and family therapy, our family time services, really all of the services that we deem necessary to try to prevent out-of-home placement for children and youth and their families and try to reunify children and youth with their families. And so this services plan is necessary to have the board chair, and we submit to the Department of Human Services, which allows us to spend the allocated money of the $2.1 million for our community here in Mesa. And any further questions, I've got Joni Johnson, who is really the author of this plan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments? I don't.
No, thank you, guys.
Does anyone from the public have any comments or questions? Please come forward. You can state your name to the record.
Anna Elliott. I just had a question. If this is signed and the money goes forward, the funding, is there going to be a reporting or an accounting how that money that is set aside for this particular item used and delivered to the board? Will we know how it's being used, what the results are, if it's been a worthwhile expenditure? That's my only question.
Thank you, Ms. Elliott. Does anyone else have a public comment during this time? Okay. I'll just bring it back to you, Joe.
Yes, that's a great question. And just to clarify, the funding on these are, it's 80% state and federal funds, and it's a 20% county fund. So it's not the 2.1 million is the full plan that's split between state and federal funds and county funds. And yes, we do report out. We do have a core services report to talk about how many clients are served. So children, youth, their parents. We do have outcomes on the different services that are available. We have services that are contracted out with the community that we would be able to report on, and services that are delivered internally through the Department of Human Services.
That's great. And if anyone wants to find past core measurable goals like that, where could they go for those?
They can reach out to the Department of Human Services and certainly use the power of Cora as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Joe. Commissioners, do you guys have anything else
I don't.
on that
I
item?
don't.
Okay. Do we have any more public comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.